Alrighty, hello 7th graders. We're gonna give this a shot. So for some of you, this is going to be a review, and for those of you that hopefully I'll have 4th quarter, this will be new to you. So you are going to learn how to do 2-point perspective drawing, and we are going to be creating cities, but using boxes as your main shape and cobbling and combining them together to create some sort of awesome theme. So a couple things that you need to remember is have a piece of paper somewhere. Even if it's notebook paper, we can make do with whatever we've got. If you have a straight edge like a ruler, that would be great. If not, even something like a box with a straight edge will work. You don't need measurements for this. And if you've got a pencil, great. A pen will work, but it's kind of not nice for this because you might have to erase plus sharpen as you need it. So whatever you got available, let's make the best of what we got with what we got. So here we go. What you're going to start with is you're going to start with 2 vanishing points. Vanishing points means whatever you have drawn to those, it disappears, it vanishes. You can't see it anymore. It's like standing in the middle of a road, which I don't recommend, but just for an example, after a while you see the road disappear, it vanishes. Then what I want you to just start playing with is somewhere in the middle of your paper, just draw a vertical line. You don't have to go too dark, but I'm going dark enough so that hopefully you guys can see this on my setup that I have here. Then what we're going to end up doing is drawing 2 or vanishing points on each side. So the goal of this is to have everything drawn perspectively correct, so it gives the illusion that it's vanishing. You won't really have much for horizontal lines in this piece. It's going to be mostly vertical and vanishing point lines. So when you look at these vanishing points, notice my ruler, it's always going to be touching one of those 2 sides. It's going to pivot, so kind of like a windshield wiper. It will never leave that spot if I'm on this side or this side. There are going to be some exceptions later on when we get further along with this. Some of this will get sped up just because I know you're not going to want to hear me talk forever, and I'm going to try and keep these short and sweet so you're not sitting in front of a screen forever, because nobody wants to do that. So I'm just going to draw a few boxes, and I'm going to play with overlapping. I'm going to eventually be creating a city. Your minimum amount of boxes that you want is about 10. So the minimum amount of buildings that you want is about 10. But play around, get creative, come up with a theme that seems to help. Instead of just having random boxes, play along with, if you want it to look like Wisconsin Dells and you've got water slides coming out of everything, or if you're a thrill seeker and you want to play with roller coasters, or if you want to pretend that these are in outer space or that they're floating. You don't have to have everything what you would see downtown local Main Street. You can get as wild and crazy with these as you want. So now I'm just going to draw for a while. You never want to line up corners to each other because then buildings look weird. So make sure you offset, meaning this isn't in line with these. If it was in line, after a while when you start building on this, it just looks weird. You don't want to do that if you can help it. Notice I'm erasing a lot of extra tails. That's why a pencil is really good for this project if you can get your hands on one. If not, you're using a pen, again, we'll make do with whatever we've got. If you're confused on what vertical is, always line your ruler up to whatever kind of edge of your paper you might have, or your notebook, or if you happen to have your sketchbook with you, that's vertical. Try and resist the urge to go like that, because otherwise your buildings start to look really wonky. And right now I just want you to get the hang of how to draw 2 perspective just with a bunch of overlapping, weird-sized boxes. And if your ruler's not quite long enough, like mine isn't, I'm just going to use my eye and my best judgment. You can always just try and line it up, or find something that's a little bit longer. If you happen to have a yardstick, that would be great. If you've got it, use it. If you don't, use your eye, get as close as you can. You can kind of tell, go with your gut. You know when you're off. But when you think you're close, go ahead and throw a line down. Nobody's going to judge. You're going to be close, and it's going to be all right. Now, up to this point, we've been doing boxes kind of in the middle. Now I have a box that's pretty low. Hopefully you guys can see that. What happens is when I get below where my vanishing points are, if I were to make this ruler longer, and here's my vanishing points, this is called the horizon line. That's an imaginary line right now, but if you were looking outside at a field, this would be the sky, this would be the ground, and the horizon line is where sky meets ground. So anything that is below, in this case, that imaginary line, that horizon line, we're going to see the top of the building. So if we're going to see the top of the building, this is where things change a little bit, meaning we've done what we've done with all of these up to this point. Now what we're going to need to do is go from, in this case, the back corner of this box, this building, and line it up with the opposite side. We're going to be creating an X after a while. So I'm just going to guess, and I'm just going to draw a line, not too long, but not too short. Then from the opposite front corner, I'm going to be lining up with the opposite vanishing point of where this edge of the building is. And I'm going to, remove my ruler, and I'm going to draw a line. And that is now where my back corner of the building is. This is now the rooftop of that building. So anytime you have a building that is below the vanishing point, you're going to see the top. We'll do one somewhere up here where we will do the opposite, where we'll see the bottom of the building. And if you happen to flip your paper around, it's the same technique, except instead of looking like it's looking down, it's looking up. So let's put one right here. This is kind of open and empty. Same deal. So let's do what we were doing before. Okay, now, same idea, same concept. So if you want, there is no one right way to do this. Let's go from the front corner here instead of starting in the back corner. So from the front corner, I'm going to line it up with the opposite side of where I am on this building right now. Line it up, draw a line about yay big. We can always make it longer, or we can always erase it, no big shake. Now I'm going to line up to the back opposite corner and the opposite side vanishing point so we can make that X. What I mean is this is the X. This is what I'm talking about. The X creates this back corner. We don't need all these extra little tails, so we're going to get rid of them. And then again, unless our building is see-through, which for this demo I'm not going to make them see-through, erase what you don't need. Okay, I'm going to keep going for a little bit. Hands are blurry. Focus. How do you do that? How do you focus when your hands in here? Nope. How about the sharpener? Can I focus on the sharpener?